What you mean there's no stab? I am the stab, mother.
Welcome to episode 230 of Nerdery Murdery.
Big 230. I'm Zig with your Nerdery.
And I'm Geoffrey with your Murdery. Welcome to another week of the highs and lows, the ups, the downs, the good and the bad, and the nerd and the murd. So I know this episode comes out right after New Year's, so I know
Mhm.
this news is very late, but
Happy New
for
Year.
those of you, Happy New Year. For those that follow along on the Prime Numbers Facebook page and our page and maybe even my page, Prime Numbers is out. It is out. It was released on September 26th. It was actually released on September 25th. I scheduled the 26th for the release date, and then we were doing
We were recording an
we were
episode.
Well, Michael Shanks and Stephen Boster over at Two Geeks and a Microphone were very, very gracious and wanted to do an author. They call it Creators Corner, but an author interview with me. Um, the night before the release and during the recording, we Stephen went and checked the Amazon page and it was live. It was ready to go, and
Yeah.
I freaked out. I was like, wow.
That was fast.
It
Earlier
was
than expected.
well, but it was really, really cool, and I was really excited that we got to do that live. And again, they were so gracious for having us on. Zig came along as my emotional support monkey,
Mhm.
which I very much appreciated. But we had a great time on that. The next day, had a release party here where I live, and a lot of friends came over. We showed the trailer for the book on the TV, and it people reacted like it was a blockbuster movie. I mean, they were hooping, they were hollering, they were clapping. It was really, really cool. And it's been awesome. I've gotten so many people who have reached out, letting me know that they bought the book. Some that have already
Dove.
whatever,
Dove.
dove into it, and getting a lot of really good feedback on it. If you have bought it, please do leave a review on Amazon or Goodreads on the Prime Numbers Facebook page. I've got links to both, because that really helps others find it. It moves it in the Amazon
Oh,
algorithm.
I've already read it, so I can go ahead and go do that now. I
You
did Amazon, but I haven't done Goodreads yet.
did you do Amazon already?
Yeah, I did Amazon.
Huh, it must be delayed because I haven't seen any reviews on there yet. So I
Yeah, it
wonder
was
if they
like,
delay.
yeah, I was, what is it I said? I was like, it's like my character came to life. I didn't say who I was.
Um, oh, that's cool. I hopefully I'll see those soon because I haven't seen any. So they must Amazon must be on some sort of delay.
Yeah. And they're on Goodreads too. I didn't realize it was on
Yeah,
Goodreads.
I have two reviews as of today's recording on Goodreads. One that was a 5-star review, which left a comment, and the other left a 1-star review, but no comment. And I'm like, well, what did you not like? Help me out here.
Help me
Uh,
out. I'm working on the sequel.
well,
What did
and
you say? A writer told you that your first book's always going to be a mess?
yeah, yeah. That was actually Lauren over at Geek Girl Authority.
Oh, oh my God. We've known Lauren since she was born.
Since she was born. She's an author as well. I got her first book. The day. Oh my gosh, I forgot the name. The day the turtles. Hold on,
It's
I
a
don't
Sea
want
Turtle
to.
one. We've got it here too.
I've got the book. Let me.
She did one about sea turtles and then one about iguanas.
Yeah. It. Also, hold on. It is. I'll find it. I feel so bad because I'm putting it on here.
Uh-huh.
It's the day the turtle.
I'm
The
looking for it because it's
day
above
the
my head.
turtles.
Need fewer bugs. can't believe I just said that out loud.
No, here we go. I've got it here. So she had I'm on her page, and there we go. The day that froze the sea turtle.
Hmm.
The day that froze the sea turtle. There we go. She also has the day it rained iguana and animal habits. Um, Her books are really cute. But yeah, she's the one that told me that your first book is always a mess. Um, which I thought was really cool because I mean, half me wanted to go, don't school me. I've known you since you were a baby.
But she's published quite a
But
bit
she
now.
does. She does know. So it was very funny. But her books are very, very cute. Um, but yeah, so
Warnock
there were
Darnell, go out and check her out.
but
She's a
there was
librarian and she does kids books
yeah.
and adult books too, but kids
But
books.
yeah, but yeah, there was the one star review, and I'm on various author pages on Facebook, who's people helping people out, giving advice and things like that. And someone was talking about, do you read the bad reviews? And my personal take on that is, yeah, why not?
Hmm.
Um, as long as they're not being mean or critical just to be
Dickish.
mean or critical,
Yeah, dickish.
dickish. If they're being critical in a constructive way that tells you
Yeah.
things you can change that would make it better, I think that's great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so I think,
nobody hates constructive criticism. Nobody. Well, okay.
oh, that's not
We
true.
don't hate constructive
Yeah, we
criticism.
don't. There are people that do. But I put a post on one of those boards that a perfect example is the Twilight series by Stephanie Meyer.
Hmm.
That was massively popular. It made it
Hmm.
to a movie franchise. I personally didn't like the book. I
Hmm.
just didn't. So I have not watched the movies. Stephen King, granted, he probably shouldn't have done this, but he did. He came out and he said basically that she couldn't write, that she was a terrible
Oh,
writer. Um, and it was actually in an article where it was talking about that even terrible writers can make a lot of money writing, and Stephanie Myers was one of those. But he was very critical. But that's kind of my point. No, not everybody's going to like it, and
no.
that's fine. Everybody that I have talked to that has found out that I have a book, they're like, "Oh, I'll get it. I'm going to read it." And the very first thing I say is, do you like sci-fi? And if the answer is no, I tell them straight
Don't.
out, you're probably not going to like this book.
No.
Um, I don't want you to purchase something. My oldest friend in the world. I've known this person um, longer than anybody. Uh, she sent me a note that said she was purchasing the book, but it wasn't really in her wheelhouse. And I told her, I said, don't. If
Yeah.
sci-fi is not in your wheels, and she said she's going to order it anyway. She's like, oh well, you never know when I learn something new, or maybe it's something new that I'll like, um, which is great. Power to her. Go ahead. I just do forewarn people: if you don't like science fiction, fantasy, you're probably not going to like this, and
No.
that's okay. And even people that do are not necessarily going to like this, and that's okay too. Um, I wrote this to entertain people that are entertained. Great. Please leave a review. Whatever you do, please leave a review. Um, but anyway, I went the long story, the long path to say it's out. If you haven't seen it already, please, if you like science fiction and fantasy, you like cyberpunk, prime numbers, book for you. You'll like it. You like playing RPGs, prime numbers, book for you.
You ever wanted to get
Um,
sucked into your RPG game? Here you go. That's what
yeah,
this is about.
exactly, exactly. Zig's working on his book. I'm
Oh,
reading it. He's got his first draft in. I'm reading it.
I got a lot of characters. I'm sorry.
No, 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 and that's cool. I'm reading it a little slowly because I'll be honest, I got a shit ton going on in my life
Yeah.
between my full-time job, marketing prime numbers, writing the sequel to prime numbers, doing this podcast, and I'm not going to miss golf. Um, I'm getting there, but I try to get through, and I try to sit down and get through a chapter at a time. There
Yeah.
are a lot of characters, and sometimes I have to go back and go, okay, wait, who was this? Um,
I need to put a
but
character list in. This book needs an appendix. They're that many.
Mm, maybe
Yeah.
that might help a little bit.
And I need to
But
put in a list of tribal names too, because there's 4 tribes of dwarves and 5 tribes of elves and 3 tribes of orcs and the Mycanoids and the different factions inside the tribes.
well, don't think you need to write the Cimmerillion. You know,
I know, but a page with that information might not hurt.
might not. That might help a little bit. Something your book might benefit from as well, and I'm more than willing to help you out with that. Is if you get to a point you decide you're definitely going to publish this, you're going to put it out there. Um, Create a world map.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
This one definitely needs a map.
I'm working on one for Ominous in prime numbers. It's not perfect yet, so I'm still toying with it. But
Is
a
it like a
book like
city
yours,
map?
yeah. I've tried different ways to do it, and I just haven't been happy with the results yet. So I'm still
Right on.
working on it. Yours, I think yours would be nice with a map.
Yeah, an
Just
actual
because
map.
of the type of story it is, I think
It
an
yeah
actual map.
yeah. It's a fantasy
Yeah,
book, kids. I mean,
and I
it's
s-
full on fantasy. There are no humans.
and
It's
I
elves, dwarves, orcs,
and I think I've said 3 times now, map.
map.
Um,
Yeah,
which I think is a word now. So anyway,
map.
so Zig's hard at work on that. I'm hard at work on the sequel to Prime Numbers. So we are very busy. Lots and lots and lots going on. Um, Yesterday, as from when we're recording on Two Geeks and Microphone, they talked about this. I saw this week as well, and I kind of wanted to comment on it. They did as well. Is that it's been confirmed, or at least, well, it's rumored confirmed, that Amy Adams has been cast in Starfighter, Star Wars Starfighter,
Uh-huh.
which, to my understanding, Starfighter takes place after the Rise of Skywalker. Um, And so there's a lot of people online that are conjecturing because Amy Adams is redhead that she's going to play Mara Jade.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Mara Jade is a character in the books that are no longer canon.
Correct.
Um, a major character.
A very major character, and she starts out. She is the former Emperor's hand because she comes into play in the Thrawn trilogy, the Heir of the Empire, Dark Forces Rising, and I've lost the third one right now. But anyway, the Thrawn trilogy. And Mara Jade is a former Emperor's hand. She's an assassin, and her goal in life is to kill Luke Skywalker because he killed the Emperor.
Mhm.
And so that's her goal in life. Well, she ends up through various circumstances ending up uh, allying with Luke. They end up falling in love and they get married and they have a kid, Ben Skywalker. Um, she becomes a very, very critical, important person in that segment of Star Wars books, which, as Zig said, is now considered legends and non-canon since Disney has taken over, which that kind of pisses me off a little bit because once Heir to the Empire came back, we had Star Wars again. That was
Mhm.
really our first Star Wars was back in our lives, and then you had this whole series of books that came out, tons and tons and tons of books.
Yeah. I think
Um,
we were like hundreds at one point, or at least 100. It was a lot.
I don't think it's 100. I don't. It might be 30. I don't think it's 100 though. Because the Use and Vong War, which spanned a lot of books, was like maybe 12, 15. And then they moved off from that. They went to Killix for I think 3 books. They did a few spawn-offs. They did the New Jedi Order. They did the Jedi Academy.
I
Um,
know the Jedi Order and Jedi Academy. There were a lot of those.
there were
Plus we had
there were.
the Crystal Star and the Courtship of Princess Leia and the the dark not dark yeah, this is some of the dark saber stuff, and then you had the what was the one where it was the giant planet killer. Took place right around Coruscant.
Oh,
Over
that's the one where what's his name got introduced as a prime character.
yeah, Michael
You're
Cube
talking,
McDonald.
yeah. God, it's been so long since I read all those, but
Yeah,
yeah, basically it was
the Corellian trilogy.
it was a ship that was basically built around the cannon from the Death Star.
Hmm.
So, um, oh, I can't remember the name of that kid. Kieran Horn.
Oh, the character.
Crin- I think it was maybe Kieran Horn.
I haven't read that in 30 years, man.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. It's been a long time since I've read those. Um, but anyway, so Mara Jade, it became a fan favorite,
Hmm.
a massive fan favorite. There's been so much concept art out there for her. A lot of people do cosplay with her. So the speculation that she's going to be Mara Jade in Starfighter, not it doesn't just break what we knew as canon, which again, Disney has said those are legends and no longer canon. I think it would be wrong to break that character's introduction and story arc into the Star Wars universe for the fans. I think that's going to be a big mistake if she's going to be Mara Jade, unless unless Starfighter is the attempt to retcon the last
Like
trilogy.
Ahsoka, kind of in Rebels, which we were talking about now in
Yeah.
our Star Wars series, kind
Well,
of fixed Thrawn a little bit.
and and if they're going to retcon that trilogy, that means we've got to bring back Luke, Han, Leia, Chewbacca,
Uh-huh.
all them, which we've had a young Solo now. I
Hmm.
I would be okay with him continuing on. We have had a very young Princess Leia, so we would really have to find somebody for Princess Leia. Um,
Billy Lord, get her daughter to play her.
Billy Lord could do it. We've talked about that before. Carrie Fisher's daughter, Billy Lord, who was in most of the American Horror American Horror Story, or she was in many of the American Horror Story movies. And she was also in the trilogy very briefly, the last trilogy. But for me,
Hmm.
let's get Sebastian Stan for Luke Skywalker.
Oh yeah, why not?
I think
He
he's
looks like a
perfect. He does. He looks
he
like a very young.
he looks like Mark Hamill before the accident.
Yeah, yeah. Um, that's how I would see it retconned. I just don't want them to pull in Mara Jade just because she's a fan favorite and completely trash her story.
I I don't think that Filoni and Favreau would do that. Those guys have read all of those books.
I know, but still,
And and look how they threaded the needle with Thrawn, which I thought was perfect.
yeah, but again, if you're not going to bring back Luke, Han, and Leia,
Hmm.
and you're just
You,
going to insert Mara Jade, you're
that's right. Yeah,
ruining
you
a
can't do
piece
that
of
right.
her story. You can't
You
you
can't do
can't
that.
do it right. No.
You can't do
I'm
that right.
okay if they retcon it. I'm okay. There's been rumor for a long time that Disney has quietly, or at least maybe Filoni and Favreau have very quietly admitted that the last trilogy was a mistake.
Hmm.
That it needs to be retconned and it needs to be redone. You know, maybe Bobby Ewing wakes up in his shower and the last year of Dallas was just a dream. Or I guess that was his wife. But anyway, that's my whole take on Amy Adams as Mara Jade. If you're going to do it, fine,
Just do it right.
but let's do a retcon and let's do it right.
Hmm.
Because if they screw up this character, I'm going to be majorly pissed. I mean, granted, we know how much Disney listens to me, but
Yeah.
I'm going to be pissed off. So anyway, so there was that.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, though, some of those fanboys aren't going to be happy anyway. What they want to do is be able to go and sit in the theater and see Star Wars again for the first time, and that's just not going to happen.
Right,
You can't you can't uncork, or you can't put that back in the bottle and cork it.
right,
You know.
right. So anyway, yeah, I was on with Two Geeks and a Microphone when they were talking about that yesterday. Excuse me, I was on as a listener. I was just
Mhm.
I was watching them. I wasn't on the show. So I had to bring that up here. Have you and I talked about Daredevil Born Again yet?
Yes,
Did we? Did we talk
yes.
about the fight scene that I was
Which,
so amazed with?
yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. I couldn't remember if I did or not. We finished that series. I can't wait for the second season to come out. They've actually greenlit it for three, which I think is great. I'm excited for that.
Yep.
Uh, we after we finished Daredevil Born Again, we moved over to Wild Cards, uh, which is on Amazon Prime. I don't know where it was originally. It almost looks like it was an ABC show, but it wasn't. It says in the credits it's was associated with the CW. Um, but Wild Cards is a very formulaic show. It's you you know it's going to start here with a murder and it's going to progress here and it's going to end with them capturing the bad guy. Then there's going to be hijinks throughout. Wild Cards is very Castle-esque,
Hmm.
which is what I like about it. It's got a detective in it who is trying to be redeemed because he was demoted and is not trusted by the department. Um, and the woman in it is a con artist thief, that she also has to get redeemed, and they ended up. She becomes a consultant for the police department. It's that whole trope that you see. Um, her dad is in jail. It's Jason Priestley, which I think is hysterical to think of Jason Priestley as a dad to someone that old. But um, it's a cute show. It's a very light show, very easy watch. One that you can sort of pay attention to and keep going, and you're not going to miss a whole lot. But I do recommend it. It's fun. There are currently three seasons out and a fourth coming. Um, but other than Jason Priestley, I don't know any of the actors in here. They've all been in different things. But it's a cute show. It's very cute. And if you need something lighthearted and fun that is also drama, murder, mystery, so on, so on, watch Wild Card. None of it's going to surprise you. By the time you get to the end, you're going to be like, yeah, I know who it is. It's just like Castle was. You knew where you
Yeah,
were
I've
going with
actually
this.
tried to go back and watch Castle. It's kind of dull on a second watch.
I hate to agree with you on that, but I tried the same thing recently. I was
Mhm.
like, I wanted. I've talked about this before. I like having
It,
things
yeah,
on in the background that I
yeah,
don't have to pay attention to. And so I tried Castle, and I was just like,
which is weird because I can go back and watch old episodes of The Rookie because I've been keeping
mhm,
up with it since the beginning, and it's
yeah,
totally fine.
yeah,
But Castle's just it's not, and I think I know what it is. It's Yvonne she's just not good.
Stonya Caddick.
Yeah, Stanya Katic. She's just not good. She
And
really isn't.
so and that supposedly is the reason it went off the air,
Yeah.
is because Stonya Caddick or Stanya Caddick, whatever it is, that she and Nathan Fillion could not get along.
Hmm.
Um, which she was kind of shoved to the side for like I think a whole season,
Yeah.
because of this. And then they finished the last season. But when you got to that last season, you could tell that there was
Hmm.
something between them that wasn't right.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe that was the writing with them trying to just capitalize on the emotions that were happening behind the scenes, if that's truly what were happening. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. I have a fond memory of Castle. I watched it each and every
Yeah. Me
week,
too.
and I had fun with it. But yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. As I've gone back and tried to watch it, I'm kind of like, I'm kind of bored.
Yeah. Exactly. It's dull,
And
which is worse than it just being bad.
well, and I wonder if it's just it was successful in its run because when each episode was new and fresh, it was great and really cool to watch, and it just may be one of those shows that is just not good for a rewatch. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I don't know. It's hard to
stuck.
explain.
It's stuck in its time.
Maybe it's very hard to explain because it's just I think it's very funny that you said that because I thought very, very similar as I try. Conversely, Eureka. I'm in the middle of that right now.
Yeah, and watch it again and again
I
and
can
again.
see that. Yes, I can see that time and time and time. Chuck, Justified.
Mhm.
Um, uh, um, there was another one I had. But shows that that I've just watched over and over and over again, and it's just as fun on the watch as the very first time. Um, I don't know. I don't know why Castle's that way. You know what, listeners, let us know if
Yeah,
you watched Castle and have tried watching again, or if you've watched Castle and never tried watching again. Do so. Let us know.
yeah,
Because yeah, I'm right there with you. It's
yeah.
very,
It's
very
it's
curious to
yeah,
me.
yeah. It's unusual because I don't think. I, I don't know. I don't know if the writing was bad. I don't remember the writing being bad the first
I
time.
don't remember the writing being bad either.
I think it may be Sonia Caddick. And I hate to say, I hate to disparage her because I didn't think she was necessarily bad at the time, but she just doesn't hold my interest.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
All
know.
the
I
other
don't know.
characters do.
Agreed. Agreed. Even when I was watching it first run, though,
Hmm.
I got very weary of the mother. I got very
Uh,
weary of the mother. She was,
Maggie
yeah,
Smith.
she was just in. No, it wasn't Maggie Smith. That's Downton Abbey
Yeah, no, her
in
name is
Harry
Maggie
Potter,
something.
maybe. But the mother in that just she kind of got to be a little too much, and she was a very small dosage thing for me.
Susan
I was just like
Sullivan.
Susan Sullivan. I just I wanted her less in the show even when I watched it first run. But yeah, listeners, please do. I'd be very, very curious if we get somebody who disagrees with us on this, or the people who agree, if they can maybe help us figure out why we feel this way, because I don't think either one of us really know.
We do not. Like I have an
So,
idea, but I don't know.
right, right, right. So anyway. Wow, that was a long open to get through all that. Zig, you got anything else for us? Are you ready to step
No,
over to the
no, no.
nerdery side of
Yeah,
the house?
I'm ready to jump into this.
Go for it.
I want to talk about a local hero today.
Hell
This guy is living the life that we dreamed of 10 years before we did.
yeah. Okay.
His it's about the 8-bit guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. His name is David Murray, born in 1975. He is commonly known as the 8-bit guy. He's an American retro computing enthusiast and video game developer who runs a YouTube channel under the same name. Murray launched his YouTube channel in 2006 under the username Adric22. Doctor Who fan. He worked on repairing and refurbishing iBook G3 and G4 laptops. Excuse me. And later on MacBooks, buying and selling them on eBay. And later from his own website. He called himself the iBook guy. He made videos to show how he repairs some of the equipment, but he made his living with the actual repairs as well as resales. In 2011, he shut down his repair business. So he started out as a tech, and he explains this in his channel a lot. He basically started out as a tech, working for AST Research over in the mid cities. And he was tech support, and then he kind of opened up the Macintosh stuff as a side hustle because, again, it's hard to find people to work on Macs. But and then he started this repair business, and they started the YouTube channel just as kind of a, well, 5 months after creating his channel, David and his brother made a channel called My PC Help, which was mostly upload computer tutorials for anybody to understand. Again, mostly on Macs because Macs are hard to deal with because not many people have them. Let's be honest. Murray noticed his general videos about computing were attracting more subscribers. So in 2015, he renamed his primary channel to the 8-bit guy. And that's what we know him as today. And he focused on retro computing. He says an average episode takes about 15 hours to produce. Murray ran several different YouTube channels with topics such as keyboard instruments from the 1980s, coin collecting, and airsoft guns. Although the later two videos did not have much popularity as his retro computing videos, so he stopped uploading videos to them. Murray was dissatisfied with his long-used in-home filming studio, so in 2020 he began construction on a small building in his backyard that would hold his new studio. In 2021, the new studio was finished and became Murray's primary filming location. So he did an entire YouTube video series on building this thing. It's complete. He's got a little awning that goes over the front of it. It's completely solar and wind powered. He's got a battery system and he can run it. He did like a 24-hour test. He can run his little studio even if he doesn't have power. It is so cool. And I was like, man, I'm so envious of this dude. Good for him. Local guy makes good. The channel is known for its videos on restoration of old computers and retro computing development content, as well as more generally demonstrations of old technology. And when I say old, ooh, he's busting out with TI 199s and how to use them and how to do things with them. Beautiful. However, on January 2nd, 2024, Murray announced that after 2 years of failing views and revenues, he will be forced to shift some focus away from the YouTube to the X16 project he's working on and a local arcade venue he partially owns in Bedford, Texas. So again, this guy's from the HEB area. The arcade is Time Rift Arcade. It's located at 2113 Harwood Road, Suite 351 in Bedford, Texas. The Time Rift Arcade stands as an arcade having boasted more than 100 classic and modern video games. We offer arcade classics, modern wonders, pinball, rhythm games, and various real action games. They offer a menu of eats, and for the over 21 crowd, they offer an extensive selection of adult beverages.
Did you say it's opening or it's open now?
It is open now. They're doing pretty good business. One of the side channels he's got is for the Time Rift Arcade, where he shows you how to repair old video game cabinets. Like from the moment they open the back of the case till they put it on the floor. He goes through the whole bit. He also developed video games designed to run on old computers, including Planet X1 for the VIC-20, Planet X2 for Commodore 64, Planet X3 for MS-DOS, Planet X16 for the Commodore X16, and Attack of the Petsky Robots for the Commodore PET. This game has since been ported to many other platforms, including a VIC-20, Commodore 64, Commodore 128, Amiga, Apple II, ZX Spectrum, and Atari 8-bit computers, as well as MS-DOS, NES, Super NES, Oric, Atari 7800, Commodore Plus 4, Enterprise 128, MSX, PlayStation Portable, Picomite VGA, Commander X16, Genesis, and the TI-84 plus CE. Murray has demonstrated the development of these games on his YouTube channel, which I have linked to. Moreover, he's developed pet draws for various Commodore computers and a pseudo raster drawing software using Petsky. Now, having said all this, if you just go to his 8-bit guy YouTube channel or ours, because I have included some examples, he once did a tour of all of the major computing and software stuff that were done in Texas back in the 80s and the 90s. And so basically he started out in DFW and then he went down to Austin and then came back up. It was amazing. Yeah, it's a little dry, but I mean, he talks about all this. At one point, everybody always talks about Silicon Valley, but the hub for computer manufacturing in the 80s and the 90s was here. It got cheaper to move it overseas. So a lot of these chip manufacturers that we have here shut down. In some cases, they're shuttered. But the buildings themselves and the equipment are still there. We could ramp up production here. We just, I guess, choose not to. I don't know why. Because up until like 2000, 2001, if you had a PC made by anybody, anybody, it had at least one component made right out here in the great state of Texas. Um, so he does basically goes through that list. I've included some of that in our YouTube playlist. Um, Murray is working on the Commander X16 as well. That's the X16 project, an anachronistic new 8-bit computer inspired by the Commodore 64 and designated to be largely period accurate to it, but made using modern off-the-shelf parts, mostly analogous to period parts, but with better assured continuous availability. Murray co-hosts the Geek Bits podcast alongside his brother Mike Murray and friend Craig Bose. So what is the X16? The Commander X16, colloquially known as just the X16, also known as the Chicken Lips because of Commodore's logo, is a modern hardware platform. It is intended to be a hobby computer built from modern, mostly off-the-shelf parts with kernel capability with the Commodore family of computers. It is the brainchild of David, the 8-bit guy Murray, who wanted an accessible and affordable platform with late 80s sound and graphics. So in his own words, what he said was, I wanted a computer that was similar to the Commodore 64, but made from all off-the-shelf parts. Its hardware includes a real 65 COT, a C02 CPU. So 65C02. It's simply it is simple enough that someone can understand the entire system. It is capable enough to create a wide retro ecosystem. Its largely off-the-shelf hardware solves retro computing problems of today, namely ever-increasing costs, auction site prices, price gouging, sniping, and the unreliability of 40-year-old hardware. So what he did was he decided to start making it. So he started with off-the-shelf parts and put one together. But that wasn't good enough. He has a small manufacturing team up here in DFW making these X16s. Now his whole point was he wanted to make them for less than $100. He hasn't quite got there yet, but he also did videos on basically how they're doing the manufacturing because he also wants to pay the people working for him. But they are up and running. You can buy one. They even made a port that runs Super NES games. It's like a Super NES retro unit. Because apparently some of the programming for Commodore 64s and 128s is really similar to the Super NES. Did not know that. But yeah, it's a brand new SNES console that you could plug games into. But it's not called SNES. It's called the Commander X16. They are amazing. I've been watching this guy for quite a while because he basically, again, as I said at the opening, he did what we wanted to do. He's got his own game library. He built his own recording studio. He partially owns an arcade that he restores stuff in. He's building his own computers. It's like, oh my God, this sounds awesome.
Okay.
I want to be.
So I got to interrupt here. So number one, I have to throw out here that the next time I come up there, I've got to bring Keith with me, and we need to go because I'm looking at it here.
Time Rift.
Number two,
Yeah.
I think you should reach out to them and let them know that we featured them on the show. Number three, this list of games is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
I'm
yeah, the food
here.
looks pretty good too.
I never knew that there was a Die Hard stand-up video game, but they have that.
Dude, go to the YouTube channel. I think that's one of the ones they repair and replace because they've got a big warehouse with old games where they just go in and when I say they redo them, I mean they redo them.
They have Gauntlet 2 versus just Gauntlet 1, which is interesting.
Yeah, Gauntlet 2 was always my favorite.
They have Dragon's Lair. And this is not a comprehensive list. I'm cherry picking here. what did I see? Popeye.
Uh-huh.
That's a fun game. Phoenix. Love that game.
Yeah, I play Phoenix all day.
Hubert. Star Wars, the stand-up, which is cool.
Uh-huh.
Super Pac-Man, which was one of my favorite versions of Pac-Man. I really liked Super Pac-Man.
Oh, he's got a baby Pac-Man too, because that's one of the things they repaired. With the little pinball game at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
Spy
see those in working order very often.
Spy Hunter, Tempest. Here's where I specifically mentioned Keith. Tron and Xevious.
Hmm.
He would dig on both of those. Terminator 2, the shoot 'em up game, which was always fun. The X-Men video game, which was fun. Different driving games. The pinball, I'm I say I'm disappointed. The only reason I'm disappointed with what I'm seeing in the pinball is because I don't see a Dracula in there. Other than that, I mean, these look like they're pretty. I
Yeah.
mean, I've
The
played the Star Wars ones, I've played the Star Trek ones.
the problem with the Dracula one is it was so, I don't want to say over-engineered, but with all the magnets and stuff, that thing is really hard to keep in working order, especially
It
now that
was.
it's all 30 years old.
Oh yeah.
It was
But
hard to keep in working order when it was new.
but still, I mean, if it was for me, I'd want that and the Tommy
Yeah.
one in here, or Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses was a really good one too. But yeah, I'm looking through these games. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Apparently, they have two locations now.
Yeah, well, the original location, he would go there, and I think he actually did some shows from their arcade, and they're like,
Gotcha.
hey, we want to open another location. He's like, well, I'll partner with you and open one in Bedford. And he was just like a silent partner, but his YouTube, some of the money he was making off his YouTube channel, keeps losing viewers. Um, and I'm sure it's because of other people and stuff like that,
1942. I haven't played in forever.
So kind of the idea was he was losing, so he became less of a silent partner and more of a major partner, and went over and started repairing games and making videos of that, which kind of brought his viewership back up. But he's fully on board doing the X16. He's still doing some of the ports for the Petsky robots and the other game I can't think. He's got like 3 games that he's made, but he's ported them to so many things it's kind of hard to keep track of them.
Oh my
But
God, he's got a Commodore PET.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, Planet X1. It got different X names, but yeah, he made these games. That was like, sort of an offside thing. And he started out as just a tech guy in the early 90s, like right out of college.
And $12 gets you all day access.
Uh-huh.
That's why I love arcades that do that. They,
Yeah.
one price to get in and all the games free. That's really cool.
Yeah, and he's cheaper than Cidercade, which I
Yeah.
like Cidercade, but Cidercade's also a madhouse every time you go in.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 8-bit guys, I've been keeping up with this guy for about 5 or 6 years now. When I started diving deep into some of the older gaming, his was some of the videos that I pulled up, and I was just like, oh my God, this guy's basically doing what we wanted to do. Um, Living a life of full geekery. He also did some videos about malls in the area that were dying, and how he used to go, and he had some video from back in the 90s because he was a big video nerd when he was a kid. Because this guy's a couple of years younger than us. He currently lives in a house in Kennedale, and he bought it in the mid 90s. And again, he worked for AST Research as a tech support specialist. His second cousins were Daryl Lance Abbott and Vincent Paul Abbott as well. So I mean, he's got ties to local musicians. That would be Vinnie Paul and Dimebag Daryl. But I mean, well, they were related to a lot of people in the mid cities, so that's actually doesn't surprise me that much. Yeah, Rip Dimebag Daryl and Vinnie Paul. But yeah, so David, or I keep calling him David, it's the 8-bit guy. The 8-bit guy, he kind of, as I'm looking at him, I'm like, man, that's what I wanted to do. I wish I'd have started doing this 10 years before. Just it's not that he's retired, you know. That's not what I'm talking about. He was able he was able to make his passions his life's work, which is I think something that we kind of aspire to ourselves.
Hmm.
Um, it's kind of wonderful, and I like again when I first started looking at him, I was looking for tutorials on tech specs to put in our YouTube playlist. This was about 3 or 4 years ago when I started making the YouTube playlists. Um, and it's just watching his rise blew me away. Um, from just being a guy working in the IT industry to uh, becoming a creator. It's amazing. And I love watching it. And he
Well,
seems like a really sweet guy.
and I want to tell you this. I want to go more than anything else for other game, but these ones specifically. Gauntlet, Terminator 2, X-Men, and there was another one I saw, but those three for sure. And the reason I want those are quarter eaters.
Uh-huh.
Gauntlet especially because
Uh-huh.
you're just losing life as time goes on, so you got to pump quarter after quarter. I would love to play one of these that I don't have to pump my own quarters into, just to
Uh-huh.
see how much farther I can get in the game.
Uh-huh. Barbarian is about to die.
Not anymore. Bing. That's
Yeah.
wild. This is cool. This is really cool. I'm digging on this, and I want to go visit.
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's in Bedford. And it I know we tout Tornado Terry's, but Tornado Terry's is I don't think they're keeping up as much as these guys are. You know what I mean? The games themselves. Um, Tornado Terry's is a nice enough place, but it's not this place. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
Again, no besmirching Tornado Terry's. Tornado
No,
Terry's is
I like Tornado Terries. They were nice.
yeah,
They were fun. It was a
yeah,
fun arcade, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. This is guys who build computers who are keeping up with their own games. You know what I mean? And they do. They look brand new, but if you watch the videos, there's a reason for that. They basically recreate the wheel in some cases when they have to. Um, and it's amazing to watch this. And again, please check out our YouTube page with the 8-bit guy because there's a lot of his stuff on there. The different stuff he's doing, like he's talking about how he started the manufacturing of the X16, um, taking the boards and dipping them in a soldering bath to get all the back soldered so he could do multiples at a time. He's basically got a small manufacturing system set up. And, working out of his own studio that he doesn't pay to have electricity run to, which amazes me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of beautiful and it's like, oh my God. I mean, it's not so much envy is I'm proud. I'm proud he's a homeboy. I'm proud he's able to do it. I would like to do that too. It's sort of a North Star kind of thing. And he's full on geekery. But yeah, that's about it for the 8-bit guys. I've gushed all over him. David Murray, you rock. Thank you so much, sir.
That's cool. Yeah, I definitely want to check them out. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. I
Sure.
wasn't familiar with 8-Bit Guy. I'm going to become familiar with 8-Bit Guy though. That's
Yeah.
really, really cool. But definitely reach out to them. Let them know that we talked about them on the show. That would probably be of interest. I mean, I'm sure they've been on other shows and whatnot, but I would definitely do that. Awesome. With that, then, we will step over to the murdery side of the house.
Murder.
For today, I got my information off Global News, BBC News, Medium, and McLean's, and this is the murder of Ashley Wadsworth.
Ashley Wadsworth.
Born on July 25th, 2002, in Vernon, British Columbia, Ashley Wadsworth was a bright, adventurous young woman. She had a passion for life, and after graduating from W.L. Seton Secondary School, she had big plans for the future, including furthering her studies by attending either college or the university. She was known for her boundless energy. Ashley was deeply loved by her family and friends, bringing joy and happiness to everyone around her. Her mother, Christy, would later say Ashley was something of a human spitfire. She was amazing. She was inquisitive. She was adventurous, into sports, and was always outside. She was a ball of energy. So she had an immense love for the outdoors, skiing, swimming, tennis, skating, and horseback riding, which were just a few of her passions. But she lived for adventure and exploration, whether it was out on the slopes or out on the water. And as a child, Ashley was always on the go, but she was also a social butterfly who was known for her kindness and ability to make everyone feel welcome. It was her desire and ability to connect with others easily that would cause Ashley's life to take a turn when she was just 12 years old. At the time, Ashley didn't have a smartphone, and her mom didn't think she needed one at such a young age, but she was no stranger to the family laptop, where she spent most of her time, where she spent a lot of time on social media, connecting with friends and exploring the world beyond her small town. And that's how, in 2015, 12-year-old Ashley and 16-year-old, a 16-year-old English boy named Jack Seppel connected on Facebook. She saw that he was a mutual acquaintance of one of her real life friends and decided she wanted to connect with him online. And she thought that if one of her friends was also friends with him, then he must be a decent guy. Ashley and Jack, though, really couldn't be any more different. Again, Ashley was outgoing. She was a sports enthusiast. She was a natural leader, but Jack Seppel was very different. He was withdrawn and somewhat isolated and spent most of his time on social media versus her, who spent a lot of time on it, but mostly outdoors. However, one of the things they had in common at the time that they both still lived at home with their parents. They had their differences, but they still seemed to hit it off. They had a 3.5 year age gap, but that didn't seem to matter. And distance, at least at first, didn't seem to be an obstacle. They would spend hours and hours chatting about anything and everything. Ashley had always been curious about the world beyond Vernon, and Jack offered her a glimpse into the life in Chelmsford, England. She was intrigued to learn more about what it was like to be living over in the UK. And over time, their online friendship turned into something more. So I want to go back. That's 2015.
Mm-hmm.
We covered a case very early, and I'd have to go and look up the name. And forgive me, we've done so many episodes, I sometimes forget names. But we did a very early episode about a girl who met a boy online and how deadly that turned.
Oh, that's right. You talk about the one that met two. One was an actual boy, and one was a predator.
Yes. So I bring that one up to say this because that one actually happened years before this one, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it was like late 90s, early 2000s.
I think so. But I just want to take a moment to pause. This happened in 2015, and say, as I've said many times before in the past, please be careful about what you do online and who you talk with online. In this day and age, you don't know who it is. The whole catfishing thing became a popular internet thing for a long time. You have to be very, very, very careful with stuff like this. It sucks that this happened just 10 years ago, just 10 years ago that these two met. And it's within the 10 years that this whole turn of events happens. But yeah, there's my public service announcement for today. Please be careful what you do online. At first, they were really more like pen pals. They exchanged daily messages about what was happening in their lives. Ashley did mention Jack to her family and to her mother Christy, her sister Haley, and her father Kenneth, who lived nearby but not with them. Ashley's mother initially was very cautious. She was worried that Jack might be a catfish, we just said, or an adult trying to take advantage of her teenage daughter, which we just said. But she was reassured when Jack sent photos of himself proving he was indeed the teenager he claimed to be. That, again, doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Yeah. In England.
Spoiler
In
alert.
England.
Spoiler alert. Jack is who he says he is. He
Okay.
he is this person. I just threw that out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, spoiler alert,
He,
Jack
and,
is
yeah.
who he says
And
she
he
is.
lives across the ocean from BC.
Yeah. Yeah. So for the next 7 years, Ashley and Jack's relationship remained on and off, which it was really more of a distant friendship than a romantic bond, at
Yeah.
least in the eyes of her family.
He's a
For
pen pal.
for Ashley, though, it was really more than that. She spoke about Jack constantly to her friends and family. Every boy she met was compared to him, and the ups and downs of the relationship, especially the drama of their long distance love, really only made it more alluring. Jack did send her gifts. He sent clothing, jewelry, teddy bears, and even money. And their connection, while often interrupted by periods of silence, was intense. One of Ashley's closest friends, Tiana, said, quote, she had this connection with him that nobody understood. So they had an 8 hour difference between them. Ashley would often wake up before dawn to talk to Jack, who stayed up late into the night, but it wasn't always smooth sailing. Like any teenage relationship, they had their fights, especially over Jack's insecurities about Ashley's friendships with boys back home. There were times when Ashley would block him on social media only for Jack to create new accounts or send angry messages to her friends and family, determined to
Hmm.
get her attention. Okay, red flag.
Red flag.
And to some, Jack's behavior seemed obsessive. Agreed.
Yeah.
Ashley, though, just thought he was passionate. Her friend Tiana, again, she once said, quote, he didn't like me because I encouraged her to not be with him. She added that she didn't know what specific red flags to point to, but that Jack never struck her as the, quote, nicest guy to her friend. I can give you a red flag. The red flag that he's reaching out to friends and family when he can't, when he's been blocked, but bygones. Um, her family and friends would try to get Ashley to see that his behavior wasn't helpful, but unfortunately, she just couldn't seem to break away from him. She wasn't ready to let Jack go, even if it kind of caused chaos in her life.
Yeah.
By early
And
20,
again, he's not only an ocean away, but a continent away because BC's on the other side of Canada.
right.
Yeah.
By early 2018, Ashley began asking her mother if she could visit Jack in the United Kingdom, but of course, at only 15 years old, her mother said no. The idea of her daughter traveling across the world to meet someone she'd never met in person felt too risky and too dangerous. So, for the time being, they kept their relationship strictly online. But that wouldn't stop Ashley from planning for the future. She'd eventually be older, exempt from the rules of her house, and one day she knew they wouldn't be able to prevent her from going if she wanted to. In October of 2018, when Jack was nearly 20 years old and Ashley was 16, he revealed a new addition to his growing tattooed collection, Ashley's first name inked on his arm in an elaborate cursive writing. For Jack, it was a sign of his devotion to her, but Ashley's mother thought it was extreme and at the time told her daughter she wasn't allowed to reciprocate with her own tattoo. She said she found it a bit creepy. Despite the tension, Jack's gesture highlighted the bond that was growing between the two, even as the relationship remained mostly digital. As soon as Ashley was able to work legally, she began racking up hours at part-time jobs at McDonald's, Burger King, a Chinese restaurant called Asian Avenue, Home Depot, and a clothing store called Red Bag. One of her first big purchases was an iPad of her own, which freed her from the constraints of the family laptop. And it gave her a way to communicate with Jack as often and privately as she wanted, which only fueled their online romance. In her late teens, Ashley's life took a spiritual turn when at 18 she became a Mormon after experiencing what she described as, quote, a God moment. She had a newfound sense of faith, and this was combined with her growing desire for independence, which led her to a major decision. She would move to the United Kingdom to be with Jack. She felt that their meeting was destiny. In 2020, Ashley deferred her enrollment at Thompson Rivers University due to the pandemic, which forced courses to move online. Her high school graduation was now behind her. She had money in the bank, and Ashley saw it as the perfect opportunity to fulfill her dream of living in England. As she was an adult now, she was ready to embrace her future, and despite her parents' concerns, she applied for a 6-month tourist visa, and on November 12th, 2021, at age 19, she boarded a plane to London. This was her first time traveling alone. And this was one and it was a bold step that she was willing to make to finally meet Jack because they'd been talking for several years now. Ashley's mother couldn't do anything. She had to relinquish control of their situation. She believed that the worst that could happen to her daughter was that the relationship wouldn't work out and that her daughter would return home. At first, things seemed to be going very smoothly for Ashley and Jack, who were finally united in person. Ashley moved into Jack's home, which was a row of houses in a public housing complex in Chelmsford, where he'd been living since 2020. He had first moved into the house with a former girlfriend, but the pair had broken up after a tumultuous relationship. I thought this one was a little odd, and we talk more about this later. He and Ashley have been talking for years and years and years. But
Yes.
at some point, he had a girlfriend in here when she was still trying to foster him with Ashley. I just kind of wonder how that all went.
Well, I mean, it sounds like she probably had relationships too. They were on again, off again. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, they stayed pen pals.
Maybe. I don't know. I found that one odd, but at the time, Ashley didn't know the full scale of just how volatile that relationship was with the ex-girlfriend, but she felt things would be different between her and Jack. The neighborhood did have a rough reputation, but they explored some of the more picturesque districts in the area. Ashley posted photos on Facebook of their travels together, one capturing them hugging outside of a church, autumn leaves scattered on the ground, and they had big wide smiles and everything looked picture perfect. They even got a kitten and they named it Winston. And this was a pet for Ashley to love and snuggle whenever she was missing her friends and family. When she FaceTimed those back home, she looked happy, and Jack too appeared cheerful. The plan was to stay in England for a bit and then travel back to Canada so that Ashley's family could finally meet Jack in person too. But this is when things quickly began to change. Within weeks, Ashley's world began to get smaller. Jack, who had been eager to show her around at first, became more reclusive. He stopped wanting to go on walks and instead spent his days inside smoking weed and playing Xbox. At this point, Jack began trying to control her every move.
Yeah.
We've seen this before. Ashley did make some connections through her church and planned to meet up with other Mormons in the area to expand her social circle, but Jack didn't want her going anywhere. He was
doesn't want her to have friends or anybody else.
Nope.
He wants to be the only contact with the outside world.
Well, and he was especially insistent about her avoiding groups with other males. He started tracking her cell phone activity, watching who she messaged, and to the point where Ashley had to delete her WhatsApp history to maintain any privacy.
It's like an episode of Three's Company, man. It's the same thing over and over and over and over again. We have seen this so many times.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And she began to feel very trapped. She felt controlled, and she was very deeply unhappy and started wanting to go home.
Mm-hmm.
So as she faced the growing isolation and manipulation, she found herself in a relationship that was far darker than she ever expected. And then Jack began to become physically violent with Ashley. During one altercation on Boxing Day, ironic, Jack allegedly hit Ashley because he had discovered two blocked numbers on her phone and assumed she had been hiding the phone of numbers of men from him. Ashley tried to stand up to herself, and she threatened to go home, but then Jack would self-harm in an attempt to get her to stay. Seen this too, and this worked. She felt like she needed to stick by him because she was the only one who could talk him out of his darkness. This is controlling behavior. So even though things between them were becoming very tumultuous and violent, Ashley did put on a brave face on social media, and she only showed highlight reels, photos that made them look like a happy couple in life. But with her sister Haley, she was very honest, and Haley was very worried back home. She would tell Haley about the fights and how Jack had become physically violent with her. She kept a secret folder on her phone of photos of the bruises she suffered from his hand. Ashley knew what he was doing to her was wrong, but she desperately wanted to stand by her side, and she made her sister promise not to tell any of the other family members, especially their mom, because she knew they'd make her return home. Things only escalated from here. Jack was on anti-anxiety medication, but he was also abusing drugs, which is counterproductive and can make your anxiety so much worse. In December of 2021, he tried to overdose by taking an abundance of his own medication. Ashley was the one to find him. She called an ambulance. He survived the suicide attempt, but now Ashley was in charge of nursing him back to health, ensuring he was mentally okay and only taking the medication which was prescribed to him. Her friends and family were urging her to come home, but Ashley felt she needed to stick with Jack and help him through his hardships. Haley was worried about being cut off by Ashley, so she kept the secrets. The last thing she wanted was for Ashley to simply stop talking to her, and then she'd never know what was going on and wouldn't be able to keep her safe. So she kept the secret. The following month, there was another violent altercation. During an argument, Jack smashed a glass beer mug over Ashley's head, causing it to shatter. Weeks later, while Ashley was still on FaceTime with Haley, he threw a candle and remote control at her head. So at this point, he's not even hiding the violence anymore. Haley begged her sister to come home once again, where she was safe and loved, but Ashley was stuck in this vicious cycle of abuse. Jack would hurt her in a moment of rage, accusing her of betraying him. Then he would apologize and change his attitude for a few days so that she would decide to stay. This is not a singular occurrence, people. This is not a one-time thing. This type of relationship, you could draw the blueprint. This is how it goes. You could take someone who is this type of person that is going to be controlling and violent, hand them the blueprint and go, here you go. This is what you're going to do.
And these relationships end in one of two ways.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Either the abused person gets away or they get killed.
Mm-hmm.
That is how this relationship ends.
Yeah.
It may take a while, but it's going to end in one of those two ways.
Generally, yeah, I would say it's in the high 90th percentile. Yes, absolutely. Everything would change on February 1st, 2022. On that morning, Jack's anger reached a boiling point. He was convinced that Ashley was sneaking around on him, and he went through her phone, which was a habit that had become all too familiar. Just before 8 a.m., their neighbor, Helen Burtonshaw, heard Ashley's screams through the shared wall. Moments later, Ashley appeared at Helen's door, barefoot and crying, with a cut on her palm, and she told her that Jack had smashed her phone, called her names, and assaulted her. In a desperate attempt to protect herself, she confided in Helen about her fears that Jack might kill her. However, despite her pleas for help, Ashley asked Helen not to call the police because she feared Jack's reaction or the consequences he might face. Again, she's still caring for him. Helen did try to help. She suggested Ashley join her for a medical visit she had. That way they could take some space apart from each other, but Ashley declined. So instead, Helen decided to go talk to Jack herself. Helen went next door to speak with Jack, but she found him very eerily calm. They spoke briefly, and Jack appeared to be remorseful. He apologized to Ashley, and she returned home. And this was not the first time that Jack's anger had boiled over, as we talked about it, but it would be the last time Ashley would face it. Spoilers. Around 9 a.m., another neighbor, Lucy, arrived at Jack's doorstep with a package that had been mistakenly delivered to her address. Jack was known for his brooding nature. He barely opened the door, leaving Lucy with a sense of unease. But again, this wasn't unusual. Jack was always quite short and reclusive. The apartment seemed quiet at the time, and she didn't notice anything particularly out of the ordinary. Meanwhile, Ashley, who was desperate for help, was hiding in the bedroom using Jack's phone to call her family in Vernon. It was midnight there, but, Ashley felt a sense of urgency at this point. She told her mother she wanted to come home and was terrified of Jack's escalating violence. Her mother immediately booked a flight for her, set to depart in 2 days. Ashley's mother instructed her to leave immediately if Jack's behavior worsened and warned Jack that she would call the police if he hurt Ashley further. So she communicated with Jack, too.
Okay.
Jack did agree to keep his hands to himself, promising he would take her himself to get a COVID test, which was a requirement for flight back to Canada. Ashley's mother was worried, but she felt better knowing that Ashley would soon be back on her way back home, safe from the volatile relationship. But this would be the last time Ashley spoke with her family, around 3 a.m. in Vernon or 11 a.m. in Chelmsford. Minutes after Ashley's call, Jack messaged his mother on WhatsApp confessing to the brutal assault on Ashley. However, despite this horrific admission, Jack's mother did not respond further, according to phone records. This lack of intervention would prove to be devastating. Around midday in Chelmsford, Ashley sent a flurry of messages to her friends at the local Mormon church, including Jamie, a young missionary, and she pleaded for help, stating it was an emergency. These messages, however, went unseen for hours, which left Ashley alone and vulnerable. A couple hours after the frantic messages, further texts were sent claiming everything was now okay. However, this is a ruse because as it turned out, these messages were sent by Jack, who was manipulating the situation to cover his tracks.
Mm-hmm.
It was about this time that Jack would take Ashley's life. Between 12:38 and 12:45 p.m., he strangled her and then relieved a large butcher knife from the kitchen. In a frenzied attack, he stabbed her at least 90 times in the chest and abdomen. He then placed her body in the bed they once shared because he wasn't going to let her leave him. And then his actions were very, very eerily calm. Investigators later found blood on an Xbox controller, suggesting he played video games after Ashley's death. He even changed his Facebook profile picture to a photo of himself and Ashley, captioning it "Forever Mine." And then in a video message recorded for Ashley's sister Haley, Jack confessed his love and sorrow, saying he couldn't let her leave. Haley would never see this video he recorded until it was played in court. Jack then made superficial stab wounds on his chest, possibly in an attempt to fabricate a self-defense claim, or maybe he was toying with the idea of taking his own life. There was no way, though, that he was ever going to get out of what he had done. He knew that. As the day drew to a close, Jack's final communication was with his sister Nadia. He had a video call around 4 p.m. and he confessed to killing Ashley and even showed her the body lying in the bed. Ashley had suffered wounds to her heart, liver, lungs, and stomach, and she had bruises all over her face, neck, and both arms and legs. And it was while he was still on the video call with his sister and police, alerted by concerned friends who burst into the house. Ashley's Mormon friends had visited earlier after finally getting her frantic messages, but no one answered the door, so they called the police. And it was their call to authorities that led to the discovery of Ashley's lifeless body. As they entered the house, officers described Jack as calm, which was a very stark contrast to what he had just committed. This breaks my heart. When Ashley's family in Vernon woke up to the barrage of messages, they frantically tried to contact her, only finding silence. They called around to everyone they could, worried about her, but couldn't reach anyone. And the reality of all this became very devastating and clear that Ashley was gone. Her life had been taken by the man she had trusted since she was 12 years old, chatting with him online on the family computer. She was only days away from returning home safely to Canada when she was killed. When he was arrested, Jack told police that he had gone psychotic. However, toxicology reports showed only cannabis and a therapeutic dose of anti-anxiety medication in his system. A psychiatric assessment deemed him fit to plead and stand trial, but he wouldn't need to. In September of 2022, faced with overwhelming evidence, including his video recorded confession, Jack Seppel entered a plea of guilty. What wasn't known to Ashley's family at the time was that Jack had a very dark history of violence, and all of this would come out during sentencing. It turned out that Jack had a history of harassment, assault, and controlling behavior toward previous partners. He had multiple restraining orders against him, including one from his own mother after a violent incident. If Ashley's family had known about his past, they might have intervened years earlier, potentially avoiding the tragic events. I'm not shaming them. But I think if they had any indication, they would have done everything in their power to shut off communications.
Ashley was another fish on the hook. This guy probably had a whole stable.
I think so as well.
It's a terrible metaphor, but yeah.
No, I don't, and I don't disagree with you on that. I mean,
it's pretty common for people like this. And again, I keep saying people because sometimes it can be women for men. Usually it is not. but
Correct.
it
Correct.
can be the other way around.
The vast majority, it's man on woman.
Yeah.
Absolutely, the vast majority. And realize a lot of that comes to power.
Hmm.
I'm not trying to say anything bad here or not, but the vast majority of the time, a man is going to be stronger than a woman, and I'm talking physically stronger, not mentally. Honestly, I think women are way mentally stronger than us stupid men.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, and also it depends. Upper body strength, yeah, generally, but like lower
right.
body strength, no, no,
Oh, sure, sure,
no.
absolutely. But what I'm going to here is that power. They have
Oh,
that
yeah,
physical
overpowering.
power
Yeah.
to overpower them. Um, and so yes. So generally, it's generally men over women that this happens. But yes, it can go the other way around. It was really only at about 15 years old that Jack began to exhibit the signs of a troubled mind. He met a 14-year-old girl online and took explicit photos of her without her consent. When she ended the relationship, he got into her Facebook account, shared the images publicly, which led to a restraining order filed against him. Um, However, his disregard for boundaries in the law was evidence. He repeatedly breached this order. He sent Instagram requests to the victim even after the order expired in 2017. He had already met Ashley at this point.
Hmm.
And it was really very much the same way when he would create new accounts to reach Ashley whenever they fought and she blocked him. Um, in the Instagram message to that victim, he vowed to pursue her relentlessly, stating he would see her soon, no matter what the cost. Jack's violent streak extended to his family as well. In 2014, he shoved his mother to the floor during an argument over his Xbox and damaged their home. In 2018, he cut his arm and became enraged when his mother called an ambulance. He was sentenced to 8 weeks in a young offender institution and had a restraining order filed against him by his mother. Um, and Jack's history with women was marked with jealousy and control. In 2020, he met a woman on Facebook and quickly moved in with her. This is the girlfriend.
Hmm.
His behavior turned violent when she tried to leave. He choked her and locked her inside the house. And despite these incidents, though, he managed to avoid serious convictions due to his victims not attending trials. Likely they were terrified him, or too much so to just face him in court, you know?
Hmm.
For killing Ashley Wadsworth, Jack Seppel was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 23 and a half years before being eligible for parole. For Ashley's family, the sentencing brought little closure. They are still haunted by the what ifs and painfully, what if they had known about Jack's past? And that's what I talked about. I'm not victim shaming them because they feel haunted by this as well.
Of course. Of course.
As it does turn out, there is something in place that is supposed to help with this. The United Kingdom's Domestic Violence Disclosure Scheme, also known as Clare's Law, is designed to prevent such tragedies by allowing police to disclose an abuser's history if they believe someone is at risk. Clare's Law was named after Claire Wood, who was murdered by her violent partner in 2009, and it operates with two main elements: the right to ask and the right to know. The right to ask allows individuals to request information about a partner's past, while the right to know enables the police to proactively disclose this information if they believe someone is in danger. Ashley's mother has expressed regret over not knowing about Clare's Law earlier. She
Well, I mean,
believes,
it's English law. She's in Canada. Granted, I understand they're in the Commonwealth and everything, but English law does not necessarily pertain to Canada. You might not know about it.
right, right. She does believe that if she had been aware of it, she would have requested information before Ashley moved to the United Kingdom. Um, but sadly, while it's too late for Ashley, her mother does believe that it's important to share her daughter's story so that more people are
Hmm.
aware that this law exists because it could save someone's life. That's another reason that I do tell stories like this, because I think there's a lesson to be learned from it. If you're if you're developing a relationship with somebody online, you probably need to get to know who they really are, and you might need to do a little bit deeper investigation.
Do a little digging.
Um, Now, though, however, we're left with the haunting question: could Ashley Wadsworth's tragic fate been avoided? Those answers lie in the shadows of Jack's past. There was a history of violence and control that was hidden from for those who needed to know most. Um, But this is a story again where there's dangers of unchecked obsession and the importance of recognizing the signs of abuse. Um, Laws like Clare's Law play a critical role in preventing such tragedies. But there are challenges they face in practice. Some police forces have very low disclosure rates, with some rejecting almost all requests for information. Other police forces struggle to keep up with the rate of requests. And the other issue is Clare's Law primarily focuses on disclosing information about a partner's criminal history, which may not capture the full extent of abusive behavior, which would give some potential victims a very small sense of security. It's a start, but there's more
Mhm.
work to be done. For Ashley's family, the pain of what ifs is going to live forever. However, I commend their courage in sharing this story because it serves as a beacon of hope, reminding all of us that there's a need for vigilance and action against domestic violence. Um, we've said it too often on this show in cases like this. If you or someone you know is living through domestic violence, please listen closely. It's not just a story, it's real life, and there
Mhm.
is help out there.
Yes.
These lives could be saved.
Yes.
I want to say to anybody out there that's
One of
listening,
two ways: either you get away or you get murdered.
no, absolutely. But I want to say to anybody out there who may be dealing with a domestic violence situation, I want you to know you are not alone. There
Mm-mm.
are people that are ready to listen, to support you, and help you find safety. No matter how dark things seem, there is a way out. There's hope, and you deserve to be safe. Reach out. Your life matters, and the life of someone else matters. And I'm going to tell you right now, because I've said it on the show, if no one in your life listens, please reach out to me. I will. I'm sorry I got choked up there at the end. I usually do on these. I have a very personal connection with this type of stuff. Um, this kind of stuff haunts me, and these stories stick with me, and that's one of the reasons I do highlight them, and I do sometimes get on my soapbox about these ones because I think it's so important to get these stories out because somebody out there needs help. Don't be alone. Don't feel you're alone. Don't feel don't feel that somebody couldn't understand because I promise you there is somebody who can understand, and I promise you I will understand. If you need someone to hear you, reach out to me. If you want to reach out to me and you want to talk on the phone and you need to talk through it, I'm there. If you need help, I'm there. Whatever we need to do to get you out of this type of situation, I promise you, I will do everything I can to help you get out of this situation. Don't stay silent. Your life matters. And that's the story of the murder of Ashley Wadsworth. I'm sorry.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that.
Those stories are hard for me to get through. They're very hard for me to get through. But again, I think it's important. I think it's important to number one to give them names because they lost a life that was worth living. And I think it's important for those stories to go on, and I think it's important for those stories to be told because there's somebody out there who's living through this kind of stuff that is listening to this show right now that hopefully, maybe, I pray, says, "Yeah, I got to get out." So
Pick option one. Please pick option one.
Pick option one. Get out. Your life is worth it. Your life is absolutely worth it. So. Okay, recomposing. I'm here and paste. There we go. Did I really just do that? Yeah, I did.
Yes, you did. You totally did.
I had to get out of that. I had to get out of that for a minute. Um, yeah, that will take us to the end of another reporting week here at Nerdery Murdery. Um, Sorry, I'm a little lost right now. You can find more about us on nerderymurdery.com. That's our hub for everything we talk about. You'll find links to what we talk about in the episode, pictures, as well as the link to our YouTube page, which Zig so often updates.
Yeah, and definitely check this one out. And then there's links to his page, but also just check out the YouTube videos. They're exceptional. Some of them are very nerdy. Most of them are fascinating.
Awesome. Appreciate all the work you do on that.
Thanks, sir.
You can also find the link to our merchandise page, or if you wish to show off your Nerdery Murdery fandom, please do consider purchasing something from there. That, along with there's the link to our Patreon account. Both our people who order merchandise as well as our patrons do help that go with the costs that are associated with this show. It costs to keep us on the air. It costs for our storage, for our uploads, for our website, and everything that's associated with this. So we do appreciate each and every one of you.
Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. One thing you can do that's completely free that will only take a moment of your time, please leave a 5-star review wherever you can. It really helps us and helps others find our content that may be looking for the topics we discuss. And last, but most certainly not least, Chuck, you can go to sleep now.
Good night, Chuck.
Good night, Chuck. With that,
I have been Zig with your Nerdery.
and I'm Geoffrey with your Murdery.
Cue the music.
Whispers in the static, shadows deep. Stories of the strange and secrets we keep. Nerd